Hey guys, it's me Johnny Racklesnacker, and we've got another really bad video coming up. Alex has a big assignment today, so strap yourself in.
Alright.
Good, now that we got that out of the way, get ready for a wild ride through the 1900s. This is another part in our ongoing series, The History of the United States and Florida, Triple Extreme. Today's lesson is about the United States and Florida between 1900 and 1949. The turn of the century was an exciting time for America. The economy was booming. America became the largest agricultural producer and became world leaders in the oil industry as well as steel manufacturing. Education was also booming with the increase in publicly funded school. Kids were definitely getting smarter, but also things like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts gave kids much more to do. Also, things were getting more fun too. Baseball was becoming very popular as people watched and played. Also, theaters were becoming more common, giving comedians, dancers, and magicians more opportunities to entertain. Technology was also something that improved the lives of Americans drastically. Not only did the assembly line make manufacturing more efficient, things like electricity, the telephone, and automobiles really changed the way Americans lived their lives. Of course, none of this stuff made America perfect because there were still many problems. Although women gained the right to vote, there was still a lot of unfair segregation between white people and everyone else. Some Native American children were given access to boarding school, but that's a pretty small achievement after everything we did to them. So by the 1920s, things were already pretty different. In Florida, there was a huge land boom where people were moving to the state like crazy. Because of cars and trains, it became easier to travel to Florida. It was a mix of people wanting to make more money and land speculators who were buying a lot of land that eventually caused a bust. When the bust came, it caused a lot of trouble for Floridians. After land speculators bought everything up, people could no longer afford the cost of living. It was almost like Florida began the Great Depression before the rest of the country. And the Great Depression is basically what the country went through in the 1930s. After the stock market crash of 1929, it became hard for people to feed themselves and their families. People couldn't get jobs and waited in lines all day just to have a chance to work for that day. The country had economic problems all the way until World War II, when all of a sudden we needed to make a whole bunch of stuff like ships, planes, guns, tanks, bullets, uniforms, and everything else we needed to win the war. But wait a minute, how are we talking about World War II if we never even talked about World War I? Man, FLVS is slacking. But don't worry, we will study that and make a new video for that sometime soon. But like all these videos, they end up taking way more time than they are supposed to. Part of that is because Alex can be super lazy sometimes, but also it takes a lot of work to put these together, so you have to cut him some slack. Anyways, that's all the material we have to cover today. Make sure to like and subscribe so that Alex can get a good grade.